pack your tools inside the timber horse and wheel it up to the doors of Troy. That goddess bitch Athena, she's not going to know what's hit her. Welcome to Simplified Sparking Marketing. If you're not familiar with the Trojan horse story, that's what I was getting at. The Trojan horse story is a famous Greek myth about the end of the Trojan War. So what happened was, after a 10-year siege, the Greeks constructed a large wooden horse and left it outside the gates of Troy, pretending it was abandoned and that it was a gift for the goddess Athena. What had happened was Athena was like, fuck, you are sound bastards. Bring that horse inside and we will celebrate. That's a fucking lovely gift. So they opened the gates, wheeled the horse in, and later that night, the horse cracked open and the whole load of the Greek army stepped out of it and they conquered the city of Troy. So the story goes. Nobody knows if that's true or not. But that is the Trojan horse of getting to the door and getting inside and then what next. And that is what I was thinking about when this idea of the podcast came to my mind, and what I like to call the Trojan horse method that I coined in the shower the other day. There's been a few instances like this with me, and to be honest, I've said this to a lot of people, and particularly members inside in the mentorship. There's a lot of things in business that I tell people to do that I'm not particularly doing right now. I did do them, or I was in that position, but I'm luckily in the position now that I've got enough lead flow coming through the business that I don't have to do certain things. Another example of this is I don't care about my social media. I don't rely on it for leads. I don't upkeep it. I will. I've got a game plan to swap it around, and I've got this idea and an image of how it's going to be rebuilt in my head and how it's going to be made up in the future of my strategy with marketing with my socials. And it's just going to be a little tester project for me. If it works, brilliant. If it doesn't, nothing ventured, nothing gained. But I don't do some things that I tell people to do because, as I said, I have the luxury of leads coming in from other angles and avenues of just implementing stuff and basic stuff that I tell people to do. And there will come a time where you don't have to do things. However, I digress. Where this is all stemming from is a few years ago, I think 1 or 2 years ago, a mate of mine, Nick, who's also an electrician, and myself, we went to the EV Expo in Sydney. And we shirted up, suited up, and we went around to all of the stalls that were installing EVs. So like your Evnex, your Zappi, Tesla, all of that, any brand that was in there, we basically went up to their desk and were just kind of quizzing and wondering about what the goal was with doing installs. And I know there's a lot of companies do this in particularly in major cities and stuff, and in particular Sydney. There's a few companies that have dedicated installers that they delegate their installs out to local electricians in the area, or if you happen to get on, I was about to say lucky enough, but it's not luck really, to be honest. It's not the most prestigious thing to be part of these installing groups, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But when you get on board with them, the money isn't great, and that's what I'm getting at is a lot of the installers we spoke to at that expo, it was very, very shit money, let's just put it that way. And we were both kind of like, meh. We're both listed with Tesla, luckily. That was a lot of luck, and I am fucking very grateful for that. And I love doing Tesla installs, and I love being listed with Tesla. And there's a big difference, and that is the money you make with Tesla goes directly into your business bank account, whereas the money you make with other installers, I don't know how it rocks, but basically you're doing it for a set fee. With a lot of companies, it's a set fee, and it might be like a meter rate. It might be, if it's a back-to-back install, or if it's a 3-phase install, or a single install, or if it's an up and over, it might be different. But I did see one company's charge rates. A gentleman on Instagram shared it with me, and it was fucking nothing short of disgusting. And it's that shit that drives me mad as well. We wonder why the industry is getting cut to shit. It's these big dogs setting the charges in, going, hey, do you want it installed? And it's literally just dog eat dog out there with some of the installs. However, if you are in the desperation stage, or you need leads and you are listed with these companies, or you're working with these companies doing, let's say, EV charger installs, or you're in with a lighting company or something doing warranty work or ceiling fan installs for a company, and the money isn't great, because I know the likes of Bunnings and stuff they've got a warranty team and stuff like that, which actually makes me shiver a little bit. But let's say you get to the job and you're the Trojan horse and you get there and you're just installing, let's go back to the EV chargers. You're installing that charger. When you get to the job, you know that the money's not going to be great on the job. But when you get to the job, open up the Trojan horse and how are you going to maximize that job? How are you going to make that more beneficial? That, yes, the deal is that charger is between you and the client, or you and the supplier of the charger. Whereas you can offer many other services to that client that you can make more money out of that job. And that's what I'm getting at is don't just go and do that charger. There's more than likely a lot more things you can pick up on. For example, I've got this with a company that gets rid of gas, essentially. I was going to say installation, but they go in there, they eradicate gas out of the house. Therefore, they need a new aircon installed. They need induction cooktops installed. Anything electric, like hot water as well, will all go off of gas and go to electric. And it's brilliant because the rates are actually very good and they're slightly less than what I would charge if I was doing it independently. However, it's good because they'll send me a photo and they'll be like, Alan, what you reckon with the switchboard? And I'll be like, that sucker needs an upgrade. It's going to be X amount. And I'll just charge my normal rate. And then I get that full amount on top of doing the job as well. So it works out really well in that method. But I just wanted to make this podcast just to basically get you thinking of, if you're hating on doing these installs but you don't have that much work, it's like fucking maximize those jobs. If you are battling out there, you want to just be extremely profitable. Yes, it might be a $400 job to install a charger or whatever, and you only make a couple of hundred on it. But what or how can you maximize that job? Is it something inside the house? Is it outside of the house? Is there a benefit that you can give the client as well? Can you ask them, would they like a sensor light above this dark spot where you're going to charge your car at night? Would you be interested in that? So there's more than one way to skin a cat. But yeah, I want to get the juices flowing and you thinking of what are companies that I could possibly niggle in with that I could use this method, or am I currently working with someone at the moment that I could do that as well? Because there's opportunities out there, but you just have to see them. And most of the time when you educate the clients, they're not even thinking about the thing that you know. And you have to, once you tell them about that, they might be the best client ever and just go, yeah, geez, I didn't even think about that light over the charger. So there's all these little methods that you can use, and hopefully that will get you maximizing your jobs and upping your profit. If you want any more information on me or my email series, it is linked in the description underneath, and I will catch you next week and jump on that horse on Monday.